The case that I choose is Sunny Ang versus public prosecutor. So in a murder case, the first thing that every killer tried to do is to get rid of the body because of their mistaken belief that no body equals to no evidence, so the murderer are innocent. However, in this case, Sunny Ang, the accused was found murder of his girlfriend even though the body of the deceased was never found. Sunny Ang, the accused, he purposely brought his girlfriend Jenny to an island for diving. So he insists to let Jenny, a novice diver, to go down the water alone even though he knew the water was dangerous. So the accused was found guilty for the offense of murder of his girlfriend based entirely on circumstantial evidence. So in discussing the circumstantial evidence aspect, this might be motive, preparation act, previous and subsequent conducts. In discussing the motive, it was distinguished from the intentions because the motive is an element which help to establish why a person commit a crime. So first, Sunny has a motive to murder Jenny for the purpose of getting the insurance claim. Sunny was made bankrupt even on the day of where the offense was committed. So he was in need of money, and such urgent need of money could be a motive for the crime. Before Jenny disappeared, she was insured against several insurance companies, and her accident coverage amounted to $400,000. Additionally, Sunny took Jenny to make a will by leaving her entire estate to Sunny's mother, and his mother is the sole beneficiary named in some of the policy. So therefore, it caused the motive of Sunny to murder Jenny in order to claim for the insurance coverage. Second, there were preparations act before the murder took place. Preparations means preliminary acts before which lead to the commissions of the offense. So Sunny was an experienced diver, and he knew that the water was dangerous, and it surely would endanger the safety of Jenny. And he knew Jenny had only a little experience, and he insisted to let Jenny to go down the water alone, but it is not safe for the novice diver. Besides, the strap of the flipper which had been previously cut, and the expert witness has been testified in court that the loss of the flipper would have resulted in the diver loss of equilibrium and thus affected his mobility and inevitably drawn in the water. So lastly, talking about the previous and subsequent conduct of Sunny, a day before the disappearance of Jenny, there was one of her insurance policy expired, and 3 hours before the diving trip, Sunny had extended the policy for just 5 days. So after her disappearance, Sunny was lack of urgency. He did not even go down to water to look for Jenny. So he behaved normally all through the diving trip despite facing the loss of his lover. He even made a formal claim of insurance company within less than 24 hours after the disappearance of Jenny. By referring to the opening statement of the prosecutions, he stated that it was wrong when a person could not be charged with murder when the victim's body could not be found, because that means that the killer could be scot-free by getting rid of the body. However, when the body of the victim failed to be discovered, it only means that the burden of proof of the prosecutions was higher. And circumstantial evidence is a type of evidence of the surrounding circumstances which capable to leading to only one conclusion, which is irreversibly to the guilt of the accused. So in my point of view, if Sunny Ang did not make an insurance claim after Jenny disappeared, then the facts may not be so strong to point Sunny as a murderer. Maybe Jenny was drowned accidentally and it was not an act of murder which well planned by Sunny. However, there were a lot of his previous and subsequent conduct which caused people to believe that he was urgent in need of money, and it formed the motive of his to murder Jenny in order to get the insurance payouts. Instead of renewing his own insurance policy, he chose to renew Jenny's few hours before her disappearance, and it only extended for 5 days. As we know that Sunny was a bankrupt. Why does the bankrupt willing to spend money to renew his girlfriend's insurance policy? Does it mean love? If so, why his subsequent conduct after Jenny's disappearance looked normal? He did not even go down to the water to look for Jenny after Jenny had failed to resurface, and he did not look panic. And based on the testimony of the boatman, Sunny did not act in a way that one would normally act upon realizing the person who they are going to marry have vanished in the water. So in this instant case, my feeling is some say the circumstantial evidence can be stronger than direct evidence, as there is no possibility of it being a witness testimony which may be lacking of in truth or accuracy, because in circumstantial evidence, the motive and the acts speak for themselves. Sometimes it's louder than the word of the witness without any establishments. So this circumstantial evidence in the instant case give rise to the strong inference, so that could become the best evidence. So Sunny Ang was found guilty based entirely on circumstantial evidence, as those evidence was sufficient to secure a guilty charge. So under Section 5 of Evidence Act 1950, there are two kinds of evidence can be admitted in court. First is facts in issues, and second is relevant facts. Such provision must be read together with Section 136 and 165, in which these provisions empower the judge to ask questions for the purpose of determining the relevancy of evidence. So in this instant case, there is not any direct evidence which lead the court to find the accused guilty of murder. So the verdict delivered by this court was entirely based on circumstantial evidence, where the relevant facts adduced by the prosecutions helped to prove the facts in issues for this case. So in the case of public prosecutor versus Dato Sri Anwar bin Ibrahim, the court dealt with the admissibility of evidence by opining that the judge is empowered to allow the admissibility of evidence which relevant to the facts in issues. So in our instant case, the circumstantial evidence adduced by the prosecutions were admissible on its relevancy to the facts in issues by reference to Section 5 of Evidence Act. So as long as the evidence is relevant, the court must admit it, as per held in Kuruma versus the Queen. However, the court has discretion to disallow evidence in criminal cases if strict rule as admissibility would operate unfairly against the accused. Besides, in order to demonstrate the applications of circumstantial evidence under Section 8 of Evidence Act 1950, there must be a motive, preparation act, previous and subsequent conduct. So in the case of public prosecutor versus Lechumanan Anak Lelaki Krishnan, the accused was charged with the murder of the 1-year-old child, and the court acquitted the accused on the ground that the cumulative or the circumstantial evidence was insufficient to conclusively find the death of the deceased was caused by the accused. Inter alia, there was no motive found. So in this case, the deceased has died as a result of head injury, and the court viewed that there's a possibility that the death of the deceased was accidental, as because the deceased could walk by the walker and through the tablecloth and crossing the kettle accidentally fall on her head. The motive becomes unimportant when there's the sufficient direct and circumstantial evidence connecting to the accused with the commission of the offense. However, if the entire prosecution case will rely on circumstantial evidence, motive play an important part to scare against the accused. So similar in our instant case, where the prosecution's case was entirely based on circumstantial evidence, thus the motive played an important part in finding the accused guilty of the offense. The prosecution's Lechumanan case failed to establish the elements of motive, whereas Sunny Ang was convicted based on surrogate inter alia. The prosecution has successfully proved that there's a motive to murder Jenny for the purpose of getting insurance claim, as he was made bankrupt on the day of the crime took place, and he made formal claim within 24 hours after her disappearance. More so, if we refer to the case of public prosecutor versus Hanif Baris bin Abdurrahman, where the court held that when the evidence is entirely circumstantial, not only the strength of each individual strands of evidence had to be considered, but also the combined strengths of this strand when twisted together to make a rope. So in Sunny Ang case, by linking all the circumstantial evidence in a chance, such as renewed insurance policy, McVille, sole beneficiary is accused murder, brought the deceased to dangerous place for diving, looked normal after her disappearance, and make formal claim within 24 hours after her disappearance. This series of circumstantial evidence are dependent on one another and should be read as one integrated whole. Circumstantial evidence are all indirect evidence, and people make their own inference to the relevant facts received. So in my opinion, different people have different thoughts and opinions, and wrong presumptions will cause prejudice to the accused and miscarriage of justice. So therefore, the circumstantial evidence must be strong to lead to one logical conclusion and become the evidence that the court used in reaching belief beyond a reasonable doubt to convict the accused. So there must be a combination of intent, motive, opportunity, and the means to commit the crime, the preparatory act, previous and subsequent conduct of the accused. Because one piece of evidence might not be strong enough to find the accused guilty of the offense. However, strong is when there is a combination of it. So in another way of saying, there must be a link in the chain of evidence so complete so as to know to left any reasonable ground or for the conclusion consistent with the innocence of the accused. Because in one link breaks, the chains will fail. Therefore, I think that there must be a corroborative or cumulative to support the circumstantial evidence in assisting the court in reaching the belief beyond a reasonable doubt. The facts subsidiary to or connected with the main facts must be established, from which the conclusions follows as a reasonable inference which could be drawn from the circumstances. Next is the circumstantial evidence steps must be applied to ascertain accurately whether the circumstantial evidence adduced able to prove that the case was beyond a reasonable doubt and to exclude any reasonable hypothesis. So the accused could be found guilty upon the circumstantial evidence which the circumstances exclude any reasonable hypothesis other than the guilty of the accused. It is highly probative when there is sufficient additional or circumstantial evidence to connect the suspect with the crime. So in conclusions, I do agree with the verdict delivered by the judge in the case of Sunny Ang versus PP, even though in this case there was no any direct evidence adduced by the prosecutions and there was only circumstantial evidence. However, the circumstantial evidence tendered by the prosecutions was sufficient to find the accused guilty of the charge. So sometimes the circumstantial evidence is stronger than the direct evidence by linking all the circumstantial evidence as an one integrated whole. Thank you.